Welcome to the West Ham Voice on a Saturday afternoon. I thought I'd leave this video late. So I was going to put a video out this morning, but I thought, let's hang on because there might be a bit of news pending here and there. And lo and behold, today, a private jet flew from Zurich to Biggin Hill and in the last few moments took off again. It's not the last few moments, the last half an hour or so. It's now 3:30 that I'm recording this video. It took off again, aiming for Seville. Why Seville? Well, that's where Real Betis play. So it looks as if the plane from Zurich picked up Niclas Füllkrug from his base or Borussia Dortmund's base in Switzerland, where they're doing their pre-season training, to bring him back to London to have his medical. And now the same private jet is en route to Spain to pick up Guido Rodriguez for his medical as well. If you're new to the channel, please do hit the like button because it does help the channel to sort of grow. And if you do like what you see, what you hear, the content of this show, please do become a subscriber of the channel. Costs you nothing to subscribe and the content is always free. So it looks as if it's proving to be a busy weekend for West Ham United, and the frustration that was brewing over the last few weeks might just completely disappear. It'll be swept away very soon. We're waiting to hear, of course, for the confirmation of Crysencio Summerville. He had passed his medical, of course, on Thursday, the two-part medical on Thursday and Friday. I believe he's completed his photo shoots and should be unveiled as a West Ham player sometime today. Now, like I said, it's about 3:30 now, and there's a suggestion that he might be unveiled around about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, something like that. The deal is an initial fee of £25 million. Now, I know there's been a rumor that the deal's even cheaper than that, but I haven't got that quite corroborated. So I'm going with what I understand to be the deal as it stands. And my understanding, it's a £25 million deal plus £5 million in add-ons, plus an additional £4 million should the player make senior international appearances. Now, I don't know whether those senior international appearances include friendlies or whether they include just competitive games. But listen, whatever way you look at it, this is quite a bargain for a player that could become one of the best talents around in football. Now, the time of the announcement, as I said, is not yet known, but it's strongly suggested that we should hear something later on today, on Saturday. Somerville will be signing a 5-year deal at the club, and almost certainly he will add to the reducing of the average age of the squad, which we know has been one of the oldest in the Premier League over the past couple of seasons. Now, a recap on what this player can actually give West Ham United. He can play on both wings. He's a versatile player. He was used extensively by Marcelo Bielsa in a more sort of traditional right winger role when Bielsa was manager at Leeds United. But last season, when Daniel Farke took over, he switched him over to the left of the attack, where last season in all competitions, he made 49 appearances, including the Championship playoffs, and he scored 21 goals with 10 assists. He was named Championship Player of 23-24 season, and he is a very dynamic and he's a very direct type of player with explosive pace. He's got great technical ability, great skill dribbling past opponents. He uses his pace and his agility to create goal-scoring opportunities. His ability to cut inside onto his stronger right foot allows him to take shots from distance and to deliver accurate crosses in the box, which will be welcome news to the other player that we're about to sign from Borussia Dortmund. We will also be pleased that West Ham fans will also be pleased at knowing that this player is a bit of a grafter. We love a player who gets stuck in at West Ham United. And I guess that's why we sometimes forgive Lucas Paqueta for his errors, because he does like a tackle or two. And Somerville is much in the same kind of vein. He's got a great work rate. He's great at defensive contributions, and they're commendable, making him a valuable asset to both attack and defense for the team. Now, as already mentioned, he can be utilized on both flanks, which will offer Lopetegui more flexibility in switching tactics and formations during a game. Somerville's arrival will be swiftly followed by two more players, as I've already mentioned at the start of the show, who are due their medicals today. And the first, of course, is Niclas Füllkrug. Now, he landed, as I said, in Biggin Hill at around about 2:30 this afternoon. It's suggested that Steiden is said to have made his move on the signing after Dortmund had sealed their signing of striker Serhou Guirassy from Stuttgart. Now, the signing of Guirassy seemed apparent to Fullkrug that his role at Dortmund would become somewhat undermined. Now, Dortmund's technical director spoke earlier today, Sebastian Kehl, and he said that there was never any intention to force the player out of the German club, but admitted that the offer made by West Ham was one worth considering. And he said that everything moved quite quickly thereafter. Now, there are conflicting stories as to what price we've agreed to play. Now, some are saying that it's a £27 million plus add-on deal, and others are suggesting it's a €27 million plus add-on deal. Now, the difference of that is about £4 million. So I'm going to go with what I believe is a more realistic figure and say that we've probably agreed something like £23 million plus add-ons that come to around about 23 million euros plus add-ons, which will come to around about a total of 27 million euros. Now, West Ham are rumoured to be offering the player a 3-year contract, which is a year longer than what remains on his current Dortmund contract. And let's recap what he can deliver as well. He was a bit of a late bloomer, to be quite honest with you. Steiden knew him all about the player when Fullkrug was making his way through the youth system at Werder Bremen. Steiden at the time was head of youth scouting. He is, in a way, he spent two seasons in Bundesliga 2 clubs and then returned to the Bundesliga at Bremen again in 2019. He made 124 appearances in total for the club, scoring 49 goals with 16 assists. His performances prompted Borussia Dortmund to invest 17 million euros in the player last summer, where, with his 16 goals and 10 assists in 49 appearances, he helped the club to finish 5th in the Bundesliga, and they also reached the Champions League final. He was also called into the national German squad at a late stage in his career. He was 29 when he made his senior debut in a friendly against Oman in 2022. Now, despite being 31, it is suggested that the player will be able to offer quite a lot in attack than the current two strikers that we have at the club, 32-year-old Danny Ings and 34-year-old Antonio. As mentioned in previous shows, he's a traditional number 9. He embodies the classic role of centre forward, reminiscent of true number 9s in the past. And unlike modern strikers who often drift out wide or drop deep to pick up the ball, he thrives in the penalty area, using his physicality and positioning to create goal-scoring opportunities. His positioning and movement is excellent. His positional awareness is fantastic. He reads the game well, making intelligent runs to find spaces in the box. His movement off the ball allows him to create goal-scoring opportunities. His ability to finish chances is exceptional. Whether it's a powerful shot or a delicate touch, Fullkrug is clinical in front of goal, and he can score with both feet and his head. That's what you want from a striker. At 6'2" tall, Fullkrug is obviously a threat in the air as well. He times his jumps well and can score headers from crosses and set pieces. And Fullkrug excels at hold-up play, bringing teammates into play. His physical presence allows him to shield the ball well from defenders and link up play in the final third. And he's a bit like Somerville, he's a hard-working player who presses opponents from the front. He's able to track back when needed. He makes his contributions defensively. His work rate benefits both the team offensively and defensively. And that sounds good. We need some graftedness in the team. I think we were a bit lightweight last season, especially conceding so many goals. It's good that we're bringing in players who are team players and who are also going to graft. Um, I think he could become a bit of an icon at West Ham, to be honest with you, but only time will tell. Next up, of course, is Guido Rodriguez, who I've mentioned. The private jet is en route to picking him up from Spain. And his expected arrival back in the UK is going to be around about 8:30 tonight, in order to have his medical as well. Now, after leaving Real Betis at the end of last season, this 30-year-old defensive midfielder was due to join Barcelona on a free transfer. However, the deal with the Spanish giants collapsed, and Steidten made his immediate move to bring the player to West Ham amidst interest from several other clubs around Europe. It's understood that Rodriguez will be given an initial 2-year contract, and the player wages will be significantly less than those that were offered to another defensive midfielder that we had at the club last January, Calvin Phillips, of course. Rodriguez's wages at Betis is something like, or was something like, around £35,000 a week, whereas Phillips was near on £150,000 a week. He's an Argentine international who was part of the World Cup winning squad in 2022. He started his career at River Plate and in 2017 moved to Mexican club America, where he played alongside none other than Edson Alvarez. He spent 3 years there before moving to Betis in 2020 for a fee of just 4 million euros. Now, had he been under contract, it suggested that he would be valued at something like 20 million euros right now. So we're getting a very experienced player and a very experienced international for absolutely nothing. Well, apart from his wages, of course. Now, whether he plays alongside Alvarez or his backup, he will certainly help to add some steel to our midfield. Have you noticed a trend here? Somerville coming in, Kilman before that coming in, and Somerville and Rodriguez, as well as Fullkrug. They're all regarded as players that, get stuck in. Their physicality is really important. It's going to make us a lot tougher to beat next season, hopefully, and we won't be conceding as many goals. Now, some of his skills. Well, he's strong in the tackle. He's got good tackling and interception skills. He's great at breaking up opponents' attacks by his timely tackles and pass interceptions. His experience has provided him with a great understanding of the game. He's got great positional awareness. As you would expect from a South American, he's physically strong and robust, which helps him win duels, shield the ball, and maintain possession. He's got good technical ability in his passing accuracy, both short and long passing, enabling him to distribute the ball efficiently and effectively. And just like Alvarez, he covers an awful lot of ground during matches, contributing defensively and supporting the team's transition into attacking play. Now, if there are any weaknesses in the player, he's a bit like Alvarez in the sense that he likes collecting a yellow card or two. But this, regardless of that, could be an astute signing for West Ham, because one thing that we suffered with last season, of course, is that we missed Alvarez when he was suspended we missed him due to suspension last season. Now Rodriguez could fill that void. And should we lose Alvarez again to other suspensions, Rodriguez can come in. Now, of course, the last thing that we want is to lose both players around the same time. That would be a bit tragic. Now, he doesn't possess a lot of pace, but for a defensive midfielder, it's more about positioning and anticipating the play, which is the player's greater attribute in this kind of position in defensive midfield. Now, what I like about both the imminent signings of Rodriguez and Fullkrug is that they are both seasoned professionals who have been involved in some big games in their careers, but they're both at the stage where their careers are not quite over yet. They've still got a couple of years to offer each. And these two players are going to make an immediate impact at West Ham, whilst players like Luis Guilherme and, dare I say, to a point, Summerville, who've still got a lot to learn, they can do so by being around such players. Look, I think Summerville will be a regular starter. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting for a minute that Summerville will be languishing on the bench, but to have these kind of experienced players around, these younger players that we've signed, it's a good mix. There seems to be a perfect mix for our squad coming up to the season ahead, where there's experience and youth. And that does, as I said earlier on, it brings our average age of the whole squad down to something like 26 years of age. There is another player that we're waiting for confirmation on, of course, and that is Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, as with other stories, there are always conflicting rumours knocking around. Some suggest that the player wanted to go see out his contract at Man United and leave on a free at the end of next season. Others suggested that if he does leave, he definitely wanted to move abroad. And then, of course, the Inter Milan rumours seem to have come up, and those have died down over the past day or so. And now it's suggested that the player wants to return to London. Wan-Bissaka was born in Croydon, developed through the youth ranks at Crystal Palace, and he made 46 senior appearances for the club, which attracted the interest of several clubs. And in 2019, at the age of 21, he made a big money move, £50 million move to Man United. He has since made 190 appearances for the club, but head coach Erik ten Hag is looking for reinforcements in a number of areas, and right back seems to be one of them. Wan-Bissaka is only 26 years of age. Apparently, we're offering him a 5-year deal at West Ham United. And many might argue we're getting him at a time where he can still offer his best years. Details of the deal are still being negotiated, with a fee of anything between 10 to 18 million pounds being reported. Now, I would imagine, again, with a year left on his contract, both clubs will come to some sort of compromise. And I would guess that we'll probably agree on something like 12 million plus add-ons to get this deal over the line. So how would West Ham United's team look like with all these signings coming in? Well, I think we're looking at something like this. Wan-Bissaka, with the greatest of respect to Soufal, I think will be the starter. At this moment in time, I'm still going with Mavropanos to partner Kilman at centre backs, and with Emerson over on the left. Now, look, you could put any type of formation that you want when it comes to midfield. I suggested before that we might have a midfield of 3 with Kudus, Alvarez, and Paqueta there. You could have a 4-2-3-1 formation. You could change it around again. But let's go with a 4-2-3-1 for the time being, with Alvarez and Paqueta in kind of the holding-ish midfield. I think Paqueta will be more of a box-to-box with Alvarez holding. And then you'll have Bowen out on the right, Summerville on the left, and Kudus playing more centrally. And then, of course, you'll have Fullkrug up front. So it's quite exciting. And then when you look at our bench, all of a sudden, things become a lot stronger. You've got decent well, I'm gonna I'll hold fire by saying a decent backup defense for the moment, because I think there'll be more business done. But with someone like Rodriguez on the bench coming in at holding midfield, you could, if you wanted, move Alvarez to a back 3, for example. And then, of course, you got other midfielders. You got Ward-Prowse, you got Souček in there. And, of course, you got young Guilherme. And then, of course, Antonio and Ings up front. So strength in depth is beginning to look a lot better than it has been for quite some time. Now, as I've said, Somerville should be officially announced sometime today. Hang on. Let me check my phone for just one thing. No. And then Fullkrug and Rodriguez having their medicals today. We always do 2-part medicals. So they've got their medicals, first medicals today, and then the second medicals on Sunday. So I dare say Fullkrug and Rodriguez, if everything is fine with the medicals, will be announced on Monday. And then there'll be Wan-Bissaka to follow up probably halfway through next week. I think after these 4 deals, and I've just alluded to it, I don't think our business will be completed just then. I think there's more to come. And I think we still do have, if you look at that, the squad and the bench at the moment, We still do have one or two areas that we might want to strengthen a bit more on. Of course, central defence is one of them. But so far, what we've done is we're looking at we've strengthened our goalie slot where we brought in a second stroke third choice keeper. Wan-Bissaka will strengthen our right side. Kilman has strengthened the back. We're going to probably get another central defender, as I said, after all this business has happened. We've strengthened our midfield with the likes of Rodriguez to back up Alvarez. We strengthen our attacking midfield with the likes of Somerville coming in, and we've got a much-needed striker coming in who's going to be competition for Ings and Antonio. But I don't think, as I said, I don't think our business is going to be finished there. I can see one or two more places being strengthened, and next week could see the start of one or two players beginning to leave West Ham United. And I'll talk about that over the coming days. Thank you all for watching. It's really exciting times. We're finally seeing some action, but not before time, I guess. Do look out for the announcement about Somerville, which we do believe should be happening today. And we go from there. I'll see you all very soon and have a good rest of the weekend.